I'm Ryan O'Doud, and you're listening to Ryan's Audiobooks on the Issues Magazine YouTube channel. Today we continue with section 10.7 of Adam from the Son of Knowledge by Lex Hixon Nur Al Jerrahi. We're picking up in the middle of chapter 4, Heart of the Holy Quran. Verses 51 through 67. The magnificent crescendo of divine resonance will sound forth at the end of time. This wave of awesome spiritual energy, like the clear call of a trumpet, will wash over the entire universe, bringing it to complete stillness and plunging all conscious beings on all planes of being deep into ecstatic trance. From tombs of limited awareness, beings of awareness will rush forth into limitless awareness. Persons who failed to practice prayer, worship, and meditation will at first be anxious and even anguished as they experience the flight of their fluid, formless bodies of radiance through the open space of Allah's own radiance. But their awareness will become centered and harmonious again when angelic and saintly guides, surrounding them as brilliant clouds of witnesses, remind them repeatedly this is the day of truth, which the All-Merciful One has promised in all the revealed scriptures of humankind. Those resurrected ones who lived on earth in loving relationship with any authentic body of the prophetic message will be overjoyed to realize at last that the words spoken through divine inspiration by the apostles and lovers of the one God were accurate and true. Born at speeds greater than the speed of thought on the single wave of divine resonance, every person from the beginning of history will be brought in a timeless body composed solely of radiance to the awesome throne. These souls will encounter, with deep trembling of their whole being, the unimaginable and utterly astounding divine mercy, love, tenderness, compassion. Not a single soul will be wronged, but cleansed, healed, and elevated according to every action or intention of goodness, kindness, generosity, reverence, and gratitude, no matter how minute, that occurred throughout its entire career on earth. By the light of these moments of affirmation, vastly magnified by the All-Merciful One, the shadows of negation will be dispelled. Into this day outside time, all persons mysteriously awaken at the moment of physical death. The whole universe will awaken here at the moment of its physical dissolution at the end of time. On this day, the companions of the garden, those souls whose earthly lives have been watered with gushing springs of prayer and have borne the fruits of wisdom, will awaken with their entire being become sheer bliss. These companions of divine love will find themselves enthroned with royal dignity, experiencing the delicate springtime coolness of pure contemplation, surrounded by the ripe fruits of every mystical state and station, a profusion of spiritual colors, tastes, and fragrances, directly revealing the wonders of their Lord. Whatever visionary experience or Gnostic realization they long for, these souls will instantly receive. The divine word that consciously surrendered souls will hear emanating from the source of this garden and pervading all the levels of subtle experience. There will be, peace, 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 may my own peace be upon you, as Allah Most High sends each soul his loving greetings and salams, rich with the most abundant tenderness. A glimpse of this divine tenderness can be experienced on earth through the purest mother's love. Therefore, the Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace, teaches in his noble oral tradition that the mother is the most important person for souls who long to live in the mystery of divine mercy called Islam. The mother, the mother, the mother, he proclaimed in sweet tones, and then the father. When the subtle body of our ideals and negativity will be clearly revealed as a terrible twist in human awareness, as the distrust and even the hatred of love. To the souls who have distorted themselves by the rejection of love, divine compassion clearly proclaims their spiritual error. May we listen to the awesome voice of Allah pulsating through the Quranic heart, Surah Yasin, addressing those souls who have tragically allowed the garden of their precious capacity to love to become choked with weeds or to wither from thirst. These words of judgment provided the shock of awakening necessary for those souls who were not awakened during their earthly lives by the beautiful call of Allah, through his beloved prophets, or even by the disillusioning experiences that Allah Most Wise allowed these careless ones to bring down upon themselves. These words of divine chastening impel such souls at last to enter the path of purification, now become excruciatingly painful because no temporal distractions remain to veil the searing sense of separation from the source of love. The Supreme Beloved cries out, O my souls who are consumed by your own negation of love, the day of perfect love is dawning, and you must remain separate and apart, imprisoned in the negative intentions and actions by which you have deformed your spiritual body. To the source of wisdom, who is now speaking, not remind you repeatedly through my beloved prophets, O children of Adam, that you should not in any way worship or cooperate with the subtle force of disintegration and disunion called Satan? The satanic principle of arrogance and rebellion has always clearly been the enemy of your balance and integrity. Who could be more adorable and worthy of worship than the source of love, the boundless ocean of love, always in waves and of ecstasy, toward which all the various rivers of human love are racing, either unconsciously or consciously? The path of love along which souls of love return into the source of love is the direct way called Islam, the essential way that shines through the prophets who have been sent to all nations. O children of Adam, so many of you have been led astray from my path of love by the principle of self-centeredness. Now your chronic fear of losing the limited self in divine love must inevitably experience my radiance as the flames of hell. O rebellious ones, your primordial nature, which is pure acceptance, has become twisted into patterns of rejection. Allah, most merciful, is not rejecting you and can never reject you. You have rejected his mercy by your very mode of being. None of the mere words of your mouth can intercede for you. No brilliant verbal evasions, no sophisticated philosophy can save you. For the source of power who is now speaking has sealed your lips. Instead, your very hands and feet, all the limbs, organs, and senses of your spiritual body will witness clearly to the quality of your lifetime. Look carefully at yourselves. Where is the delicate beauty of love that is natural to your humanity, created to be a clear mirror of my divine love? Thus, the terrible word of awakening will sear those souls who have indulged in negation, but will not obliterate their faculty of spiritual vision. The path of return will still unfold graciously and invitingly. The innate spiritual longing of these souls will not be immobilized by Allah Most High. The original intention to return, spoken with sincerity by all souls before creation, will gradually dispel the veils of negation. Raging flames will melt into fragrant flowers of submission. This is the mystical revelation of the Surah Yasin, heart of the Quran, where only love can gaze, where only love can enter, where only love reigns. Only love, only love. Glory to the Lord of the worlds. Ameen, ameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Verses 68 through 83. The resonance of Allah can infuse any language, miraculously reconstituting and resurrecting these historically evolved before human words so they actually become the divine word. Therefore, the revealed scriptures of humanity bear the light of Allah, their verses replete with secret dimensions that contain all truth. Divine radiance can similarly awaken, refine, and totally enlighten historical human beings, freeing them from limited perspectives, infinitely expanding their breadth and enabling them consciously to embrace and express the attributes of Allah. This transfiguration of human beings and human languages by divine light is the drama of revelation, the perfect communion of awareness between the Creator and his creation, a communion that could never be achieved or even conceived by any creature on its own. The religions of humanity, with their authentically revealed books of light and their authentically inspired prophets of love, are essentially divine initiative, not independent human efforts to know reality or please God. Allah All-Merciful is seeking the heart of humanity as a lover desperately seeks the beloved. The Creator's longing, the Creator's search, the Creator's love is then reflected as a living mirror image in the heart of the creature and becomes human longing, human search, and human love. Allah alone is the source of the thirst and yearning of our whole being for the source of being, causing us to seek meaning and joy through every metaphor and veil of relative existence. This ecstatic longing can rest only in its true homeland, the Garden of Essence. The circuit of love then becomes complete as the soul of love returns to the source of love. Love pours into love, races into love, expands into love, and finds only love. Human love then realizes that it has always belonged completely to divine love. Divine love created human lovers and then fell in love. Divine love taught prayers and then prayed these prayers. Divine love revealed scriptures and then contemplated these scriptures. Now the mirror image of divine love disappears again into original reality. There's only one who perceives, only one who prays, only one who loves. Poetry is a metaphor, bringing separate dimensions together to illuminate each other. Divine revelation is not metaphor. Divine nowhere knows no multiple dimensions. Holy Quran essentially strips away poetry from the human psyche, shining forth as universal oneness, as naked clarity without adornment or complexity. May we listen with awe to the voice of Allah, thundering within the dark blue rain cloud of Surah Yasin. The ultimate reality, who is now revealing this Arabic Quran, has never guided my beloved Muhammad in the way of poetry, for metaphorical speech is not appropriate for the bearer of divine words. The radiance and resonance that manifests through him is nothing less than my message of clarity, my radiant Quran, which illuminates the entire universe with the light of unity. This glorious Quran constitutes warning and guidance for all persons until the end of time. This clear Quran presents an incontrovertible demonstration of the one truth against all limited selves in creation that reject or distort the truth of oneness. This powerful Quran fully opens the eyes of the heart to the source of power, who is now speaking and who alone provides every form of sustenance that human beings gather on this abundant and beautiful planet. My constant and overwhelming divine generosity cannot be perceived with ordinary vision. Only awakened vision, the Gnostic eye opened by the touch of my Quran, can know true gratitude to Allah Most High. The clouded vision of humanity perceives my creation as multiplicity and therefore acknowledges and even worships various sources of power in the universe, foolishly ignoring the single source of power who alone sustains and offers tender assistance to all lives. These disoriented persons who wander in multiplicity must eventually be confronted directly by the one power. This experience will shock their habitual mode of perception. My beloved servant and messenger Muhammad, do not become saddened by the low level of understanding manifest in humanity. The all-merciful one who is now speaking within your secret heart clearly knows their secret hearts of sincere longing and love. Yet how absurdly arrogant human beings become, forgetting that their earthly forms were evolved by the source of power from mere drops of earthly substance, and they now exalt their earthbound vision and their earthbound understanding and become adversaries of the transcendent truth, indulging in various superficial arguments against Allah's revelation. They cry out, how can any power resurrect bones that have turned to dust and fill them with life again? My beloved Muhammad, the source of wisdom, will now reveal the very divine words that you should faithfully transmit to open the limited and conventional mind of those who question now how the source of life can confer his own life upon all that lives. My beloved messenger, proclaim this about the universal resurrection. The one power who creates the entire universe on the temporal plane of being can certainly recreate this universe on the eternal plane of being. Boundless creativity is the very nature of the supreme and only reality. Just as you are not amazed when you see a green tree cut down and kindled, transformed into a brilliant and dynamic fire, neither should you be amazed when you see the green tree of the earthly body transformed into the golden fire of the body of resurrection, composed of divine love alone. The one power effortlessly creates being as a symphonic flow of 7 ascending planes of being. The entire physical plane containing millions of inhabited planets is no more than 1/7 of Allah's creation. Is this supremely creative divine power not capable of rekindling your earthly being on another plane of being? The Lord of the world simply commands be, and human beings spring into being on higher and higher levels and stations of being, until they cross over to the far boundary of being, venturing beyond being into essence, where even Archangel Gabriel cannot follow. Glory to the One, in whose hands of power and presence every event is always peacefully at rest. Glory to the One, who is tenderly drawing every life into his own life. These are the words of Allah Most High, spoken into the secret heart of his first light and final messenger, Yasin, as the radiant Arabic verses of Surah Yasin, the heart of the Holy Quran, and the heart of reality. Glory to the Lord of the worlds, Ameen, Ameen, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Thus concludes chapter 4. Islamic meditations. These 26 meditations were composed by the mode of unveiling, one each day while fasting during Ramadan. They were read aloud to the community of the Masjid al-Farah after breaking the fast each sunset with a sumptuous meal. The gradually increasing intensity of these compositions traces the experiential contour of the ecstatic month, which celebrates the descent of the Arabic Quran. The simple words from the lips of the Prophet at the end of each meditation were the seeds from which each meditation emerged. These renderings of the prophetic utterances are on the level of tafsir, or interpretation. The apparently simple words of Quran and Hadith, the oral tradition of the Prophet, contain infinite levels of meaning, inexhaustible resplendence, and resonance. Upon these revealed and inspired words alone, and not upon Islamic rational philosophy, Sufism remains firmly based. Even a small selection of these words, historically authenticated and supersaturated with the energy of divine blessing, are more powerful than the entire treatises by scholars, ancient or modern. From these living words of Quran and Hadith alone emerge the luminous Sufi masters, their startling actions, their Sufi poetry, their revelatory tales. Chapter 5. Islamic Meditations. Oral Traditions of the Prophet Muhammad. The 5 Pillars of Islam. The mercy of Allah to all worlds revealed in His sublime oral tradition. The divine attributes of beauty and clarity reflected as the 5 fundamental principles of Islam. The first principle, which contains the others in subtle form, is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasul Allah. This movement of the soul begins with the spontaneous affirmation of divine unity. There's nothing outside divine unity. All creatures exist only from and within divine unity. From this affirmation with our whole being of all-encompassing unity springs spontaneous conviction that perfect humanity, the crown of creation, is manifest through the pearl of the universe, the beloved Muhammad, upon him be peace, messenger, and the mystic slave of supreme love. The second root principle of Islam is to lead an entirely prayerful existence in continuous remembrance of Allah, spiritually perceiving all events flowing from the will of Allah, and therefore unshakably established in the state of praising Allah. This state of being is beautifully reflected in the 5 times of formal prayer, at dawn, noon, afternoon, sunset, and night, to pray with selfless love. The graceful prayers that the Holy Prophet received during his mystical ascension is to ascend with him to mystic union with reality, according to his promise and the promise of Allah. The third guiding principle of Islam is the instinctive attitude of loving generosity toward all humanity, which flows spontaneously from gratitude to Allah for every breath of life. This state of being, exemplified by the noble Prophet, who was as uncontrollably generous as the wild desert wind, is reflected in the formal gift of 1/40th of our abundance each year to those in need. This spiritual station of generosity manifests through every thought and action, intention and gesture of the person who is surrendered to the all-generous, all-merciful, all-forgiving, all-sustaining one. The fourth leading principle of Islam is to undertake the great pilgrimage to the sixth-dimensional mirror, the radiant cube of the completeness of revelation, the directionless direction of prayer, the Kaaba of Allah, the holy house built by Abraham, the center of the universe, the true heart of humanity. While sojourning in the planetary Mecca and Medina, fulfilling all the subtle procedures of the pilgrimage, every detail of which is replete with spiritual meaning and power, one should perceive with eyes of the heart the heavenly Mecca and Medina filled with true lovers, fragrant with selfless love. These souls are the very springs, fruits, and human pearls of paradise. Through the perception, one abides in the constant station of pilgrimage. The fifth fundamental principle of Islam is to respond wholeheartedly to the ecstasy of Ramadan. Radiant joy is poured by Allah into the entire universe from the open gate of His paradise. During this holy month to commemorate the descent of the transcendent Quran into the adamantine heart of His Prophet. Our formal response to Ramadan is to fast from food and drink during one lunar month from before dawn until sunset. A remembrance of Allah that we do not feel the need for any power other than Allah, any sustenance other than the love of Allah, or any distraction from the boundless light of Allah, who is the light of the heavens and the earth. Ramadan enables us to experience living only in divine light, only through divine light. During the holy months, the light of revelation uncompromisingly reveals our gross and subtle selfishness, then mercifully dissolves it. Ramadan is not just a month-long practice, but a grounding principle of Islam. Similarly, the affirmation of faith, the prayer, the charity, and the pilgrimage are not just particular events, but underlying principles, continuous and all-encompassing. They are not merely passing states of consciousness, but established stations of being. The Messenger of Allah makes clear and vibrant in the heart of humanity the nobility of life natural to the human soul from eternity that is called Islam teaching. Islam is based on 5, to testify that nothing can be worshipped but divine reality and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, to offer the prayers carefully, to give in regularly charity, to perform pilgrimage, and to fast during the month of Ramadan. Love for the Prophet of Allah. No person can experience the complete spontaneous affirmation of reality. Not only with every prayer or even with every breath, but with one's very life and being. Before loving the fully awakened human being more than any other, including parents, children, and all humanity. Love for the messenger is the way to awaken to the crown of creation, to the true humanity within all persons. To love Muhammad intensely, even above the mystic sheikhs who inherit the spiritual wealth and beauty of the Prophet, lifts one into perfection. This state of completeness is simply to be through the being of Allah, to live through the life of Allah, to see through the all-seeing, to hear through the all-hearing, to know through the all-knowing. This is the true affirmation of unity, which is not merely verbal, conceptual, or conventionally religious. This is Allah affirming Allah through perfect humanity. This is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasul Allah. To love any human being, no matter how close or dear, who has not reached perfection, more than one loves the perfect human being placed, further veils over the light of the hidden perfection of one's own humanity and the humanity of the other. To love the perfect human being more than all other human beings, by contrast, removes obscuring veils from the hidden perfection of one's own being and the other whom one loves. To love the Prophet Muhammad, who is the lover of humanity and the pearl of the universe, vastly accelerates our progress. Our awakening to ourselves and to others as pure souls is raised from the source of light, who are simply the affirmation of unity blossoming as a divine drama of revelation. Loving the noble Muhammad of love enhances immeasurably our love for other human beings on all levels of development, by revealing the infinite reservoir of love within us. Failing to love the Muhammad of love above all, beloved person saps the energy of our love, making it finite and linking it with imperfection. Love him for his perfection of love. Love him as the light of true humanity within every heart. We place our hand upon our heart when we speak his most beautiful name, Muhammad, because he is the true human heart, the essence of our own mystical heart. Hidden far behind the heart of life, throbbing within the human breast, he is not in the desert of Arabia, but in the heart. Love him and you will love all persons abundantly. Fail to love him and you will fail to love anyone truly. Love him who is the perfection of human love, and you will overflow with love for Allah, who is the source of love. Disappear with ecstatic love into the Prophet of Allah, and you will disappear into Allah in mystic union. Fail to lose yourself in the love of the Prophet, and you will never directly encounter the love of Allah. Walk only on the way of love, love only for the sake of love, live only for the good pleasure of Allah, the essence of love. The caretaker of the ocean of love, the uniquely beloved one of Allah, is the very principle of Allah's self-revealing love. To love Muhammad, the most praiseworthy is the unveiling of divine love. Love unveiled as the play of lover and beloved, the very life of the universe, the song of atoms, the sweetness of the human touch, the fragrance of prayers. The rosy perfume of the Prophet's love drenches his lovers. Thus Muhammad Mustafa, the mercy of Allah to all worlds, calls out through his living oral tradition. None of you will have faith till he loves me more than his father, his children, and all humankind. Humanity. Allah has placed his essence secretly in the heart of humanity. This is why the All-Powerful One commanded radiant ranks of angels to bow before the transcendental Adam, whom he taught the names of all beings and the beautiful names of the source of being. Every soul responded yes to Allah most sublime when he tenderly invited us in the pre-eternal universe of souls to return to him freely along the path of love. Every soul, no matter how heavily obscured by the veils of limited self, is an expression of that original assent to Allah, that primordial yes, that spontaneous submission to Allah and longing to return completely into Allah. Therefore, every soul can authentically receive in its holy essence the prostration of the angels. The innate spiritual beauty of every soul shines forth in the beauty of the Prophet of Allah, who teaches and demonstrates the nobility of the human soul, its uprightness, its dignity, and the divine light that shines through it by its very nature. Islam is the teaching, the actual demonstration of divine unity and human dignity. All-embracing unity and awakened humanity are inseparable. The Holy Quran reveals that Allah created humanity as the crown of creation, and the Prophet of Allah invites us to wear the crown of humanity. Worship of Allah only, perception of the radiance of Allah wherever one's gaze wanders in the vastness of Allah's perfect creation. This is the principle of humanity, the principle of universal Islam. Who perceives truth? Who loves truth? Who lives truth? Human beings do. The human heart alone consciously affirms La ilaha illallah. Actual, vibrant, clarified, beautiful, sensitive human beings, mirrors of the divine attributes, love and live the truth of Islam. Islam exists for humanity. Islam is humanity. The revelation of divine books through chosen prophets comes into being solely for humanity. The universe as a temporal training ground for timeless souls comes into being solely for humanity. And humanity exists only to reveal Allah, the hidden treasure. There is no fundamental purpose for the existence of human beings other than to affirm the existence of Allah with freedom, dignity, and delight. Through human existence, Allah affirms his own reality. The angels are created to protect and guide humanity. The earth with its subtle balance of life is created to support humanity, and humankind is appointed by Allah to function as the sensitive caretaker of planetary life. Human beings do not exist for some finite reason. Human beings exist only for Allah. How could we conceive the exaltedness of the human station? The name of humanity is inscribed with the most holy name of Allah from before eternity, as La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. The whole universe created for humanity is contained subtly in the microcosm of the human body. Allah, most majestic and resplendent, who cannot fit into the entire cosmos, can enter and abide in the human heart. Islam teaches and demonstrates companionship among human beings who live in the peace of Allah, persons who lovingly offer each other as the highest gift, which is the peace of Allah. The holy greeting, Assalamu alaikum, may divine peace be with you, represents the most sublime fruit of the practice of Islam. The heart must actually contain the peace of unity in order to offer the peace of unity, which is Allah. When one genuinely gives the greeting of Allah's peace, one is led spontaneously to give the nourishment of Allah's love to human beings in the form of food, help, livelihood, compassion, knowledge, and spiritual teaching. When operating from the level of divine peace, we lay down our individual separate lives for others. The dervish lover of humanity refuses to enter paradise until all human beings have safely entered. We stand together for prayer with humanity, inviting all humanity to truth. When human beings have not debased their humanity, human consciousness is the most powerful channel for the love and abundance of Allah. Through the hands of our brothers and sisters we receive the blessings of Allah. Through these blessed hands we receive food to break out fast in Ramadan. Through generous hands we receive our precious copy of the Holy Quran. Through friendly hands we are helped to make the great pilgrimage. By tender hands we are brought into this world as infants and cared for throughout life. By reverent hands we are laid in the mystical marriage chamber of the tomb. O sweet humanity, known and unknown, the perfect human being, the culmination of revelation, was asked, what are the truly good, the supremely blessed, the most profound actions and attributes and qualities of Islam? The mirror of Allah's love for humankind, the beloved Muhammad, replied with great simplicity, in his incomparably gentle tone, to feed and greet those whom you know, and those whom you do not know. Thus concludes section 10.7 of Adam from the Son of Knowledge by Lex Hixon Nur Al Jerrahi. We will pick up with section 10.8 in the middle of chapter 5, Islamic Meditations, next time. I will see you then. Alam.